What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm gonna talk about back training. Everything you need to know about back training, some misconceptions, how you should look at back training, and I'm gonna help you with picking exercises to use for your own back day. So let's get right into it. First of all, something that's honestly pretty stupid is that people say an amount of sets per week for your entire back, but that doesn't make any sense because your back consists of multiple muscle groups and one exercise can train one muscle group but can not train or can also just not train three other back muscles. So that wouldn't make sense. You need to be looking at the amount of sets per muscle, of course. That's a big misconception people have. But when you're looking at set or volume, the amount of sets you're doing, you should be looking at an individual muscle. In how many sets are you actually training it? And it's not like you're doing an exercise and you can only pick and it only counts as one for one muscle group. You can obviously train multiple muscle groups with a single set. Let's say you're doing a wide grip row, you're training your rear delts and upper traps, or mid traps I should say. That obviously counts for both of them, but please just be wary that a single set for back doesn't count for all your back muscles, and you should be counting it as individual muscles. And first muscle I'm going to discuss is going to be your lats. And your lats actually perform shoulder adduction, which is this motion, which is with your arm next to you, to the side of you. And your lats also perform this motion of shoulder extension. And it doesn't work very well in this top portion of the range of motion, and it works better in this range of motion, which is something you can incorporate if you want, and not gonna make a big difference, of course. And for your lats, you have your upper lats, lower lats, and mid lats, if you want to call it that. But they all share exactly the same functions, or maybe not exactly the same functions, but they both perform both of the movements that I just showed you: shoulder extension and shoulder adduction. So if you're a beginner, or you just don't want to spend too much time in the gym, you'll be fine doing either of those movements or combining them, which you can combine them if you're in between this and this. You can be like here, which is going to train both of those movements. But if you do want to overcomplicate, or I should say, if you want to make your training a bit more complicated or maybe get some more results, you can train both adduction and shoulder extension. And you can do a wide grip lat pull down and also a close grip lat pull down or a close grip row. If you're doing, as you can see, I'm performing shoulder extension. This is also performing shoulder extension. Those are interchangeable. They're kind of the same movement, kind of the same exercise. So that's gonna be your lat training, and I actually do both of them. So I just do one set of adduction, one set of shoulder extension or a close grip pull down. And when I changed from two sets of this motion, of a regular wide grip lat pull down, and I switched to one of these and one of these, I actually got a lot more sore in my lats, which is probably because I'm training some different muscle fibers. If you're doing this, it's maybe a bit more upper lat biased. So that's probably why I got sore, because I was training some more muscle fibers that I previously wasn't. There's not very good evidence or very strong differences in upper lat and lower lat biases in a wide grip lat pull down and a close grip lat pull down. It's not gonna make a huge difference. So that's why I said you can just do either or combine them. Next up is going to be your rhomboids and your traps. Your rhomboids are pretty small, so when you're looking at what exercises you should be doing, you can pretty much just ignore it. It's going to get trained when you're training your traps. And your traps are going to be the muscle that people refer to when they're referring to upper back. You have your lats, you have your upper back, or your traps, I should say, And then you have your rear delts, which are part of your shoulders, of course. The deltoids, meaning your shoulder. So the mid traps is usually what people refer to as upper back. But your traps are actually a big muscle. You have your upper traps, which can get worked in this motion or in a vertical shrug, as you can see, of course. And you have your mid traps, which get trained when you're retracting your scapula back or your shoulders back. And you have your lower traps, which can get biased if you're depressing your scapula, or depressing it and retracting it at the same time, like a diagonal motion. So that's how you can train your traps. Regarding exercises for your traps, obviously if you're doing a wide grip row, you're gonna retract your scapula. You're also doing this, but as you can see, you're also performing what's it called, abduction of the arms, which is going to train your rear delts. And what you often see is that if you're doing an upper back row, you're gotta go a bit lighter than if you were to do just the retraction, which if you're doing this motion, that's called a Kelso shrug. And you'll be able to go a bit heavier. You're gonna be able to most likely train your traps better, or pretty much certainly not gonna make a huge difference. It can make somewhat of a noticeable difference, or it's pretty relevant if you care about your gains a lot. But if you want to make your training simple, just do an upper back row. If you want to if you want to train pretty maximalist or advanced or focused on maximizing muscle growth, you can do one exercise where you're doing this, and then another exercise for your rear delts like this, like a rear delt fly or reverse back deck, which are the same thing. And next up, it's kind of the forgotten back muscle. Almost nobody even knows this exists in the gym. Almost no one trains this or tries to train it, and it's actually pretty aesthetic. It's a really aesthetic muscle, and it's going to be your spinal erectors. And those are the muscles that actually perform spinal extension, which is arching your back. It's used as a stabilizer when you're doing when you're having load on your spine, like in a deadlift or in a Romanian deadlift or in a squat even, or a barbell back squat, I should say. So it's gonna get trained isometrically there, but if it is, which can be enough for a lot of people, I don't isolate it myself, but if you really want to, you can isolate it. I have a friend that has lacking spinal erectors, so you can just isolate it there, especially if you're not doing a deadlift or an RDL or a straight leg deadlift. You should be isolating it if you want an aesthetic back. It's going to add depth, it's going to add definition, and it's also going to be the muscle that a lot of people with back pain have been neglecting for years and years and years. And the mindset that you can have for this, or kind of the mindset that I have for this, is if your spinal erectors are super, super strong, like they are for me. I can deadlift over 6 plates, so they're pretty strong. And if you can do that, you're just not gonna get hurt in normal daily activities. If I can pick up boxes in all sorts of weird ways, I'm not gonna get injured. I also know how to lift, obviously, but having big and strong spinal erectors is not only gonna make your back look more aesthetic, it's also gonna be a useful tool to not get injured, because people neglect their lower back or their spinal erectors, which is kind of your lower back, and then they just get injured lifting super light things, which is just a shame, honestly. So if you're if let's say you're like 40 or 50 and you start to feel back pain, I recommend you do spinal extension. And I'm not saying you should go ego lifting, build it up gradually, start light, of course, but an exercise that you can do for this is going to be spinal extensions. And you grab a back extensions machine or a normal row machine, and you pretty much just take your back from being bent like this to being extended like this, because it's going to be flexed here and then you let your back round, and then you extend your spine. That's gonna make your lower back pop more definition, and it's gonna help you make that muscle stronger, and you're probably less likely to get injured. Um, that's everything for today. Thanks for watching. Let me know what muscle groups you want me to talk about next. Let me know if you have any questions. And thanks for watching. Bye.